Once again, we're back here on Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Vasil Shevchenko. He's a former transport minister of the Ukraine. Vasil, it's a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you, dear Errol. Thank you, friends. Nice to see you again.
Likewise.
Thank you for having me.
Sure, you're welcome. Yes, so I've got some good news. It looked like you all are really putting Russia to the test. Apparently, Putin had reached out to Kim Jong-un of North Korea and asked North Korea to sell them back some of their old arsenal to fight the war. It looks like Russia used up all the equipment, military equipment and arsenal, and they are very, very low. That's a big achievement for the Ukraine right now.
Yes. I can tell that now we have 7 months Ukraine's people struggling against Russia's invasion. You know, it was really difficult time. We have had a lot of cruelties from Russia's troops. We have had a lot of losses, and now I can say that third day Ukrainian troops started counter operations, and during last 3 days have captured back Ukraine territory, and it's about 2,000 and half square kilometers, and Ukrainian forces are still fighting for further territories, and during this operation have been liberated more than 30 settlements and 2 cities, and now I can tell that Ukrainian forces do their work really cool, and we understand that we are fighting against more powerful countries who have nuclear weapon and who threat all countries around the world. And we understand that it's their chance. It was their chance to show for the world how strong were their troops, but Ukrainian forces have eliminated enemy's troops, and we are still fighting against enemies. And I'd say that we would thank every Americans for support we have from United States directly and from countries who belong to community Ramstein. It's NATO framework, and we would like to thank every countries who support Ukraine in this really heavy time, and for every Ukrainians. Russians are still shelling Ukrainians' peaceful cities, and still shelling close to battle line, second biggest city in Ukraine, the Kharkiv. Today they have killed few Ukrainians. It was civilians who didn't manage to hide, to shelter, and they were killed by Russians. And I can comment that all Ukrainian cities from the east to west have known what is Russia's shelling and what is Russian peace operation. And we understand that it's cruel war after Second World War we have seen, and I think that every countries around the world have seen. And we understand that we have threat from them, but we are still fighting. We have no chances instead of our victory, and we are still fighting, and we will do our best to defend our countries, to defend our families, and to defend our land. And I can say that now Ukrainian forces are being changing. We have Western support, and yesterday in the Ramstein meeting was discussed situation concerning supplying additional ammunition for Ukrainian troops and additional equipment for Ukrainian army and additional training course in Great Britain. And there were a lot of questions and there were a lot of discussions. We understand that Russia use a different type of weapon against developed country around the world. They are going to stop supplying natural gas to Europe. They are threatening blocking Ukrainian ports for supplying grains around the world. And I wanted to remind that Ukraine supply food for a number of countries. It's for around 400 million people, and now it's blocked by Russians, and Ukraine managed to sign grain deal, and now we slowly fulfill our obligations, and we faced with building new logistics directions through Europe to Baltic Sea, and it's quite difficult, and prices for products around the world have risen for grain and for number of products. And I'd say that it's challenge for all countries. They are checking us, and they are threatening all countries and checking how country will how developed country, European Union, United States, Canada, Great Britain, and other countries will continue supporting Ukraine. And if we made mistake, they will use it, and they will use it against all the world and every country. And now I can tell that Ukrainians believe that we count for our allies, and we believe to our allies, and we will fight against in spite this support from different countries. And I'd say that offensive operations for Ukrainian troops demand a lot more ammunition and a lot new sophisticated technologies just to have opportunity to win in really cruel battles, because we understand that Russia has a lot of artillery systems and has a lot of Soviet a new era ammunitions, and they have last generation aircrafts, and it's really serious to resist really powerful country. But we received opportunity with new technologies from United States, from motor systems, from rocket missiles system, which allow us to prevent this action. And I'd say that now we are going to have additional equipment, ammunition. For example, most important things to continue discussion concerning supplying to Ukraine last generation aircrafts, which would allow us to dominate above Ukraine territory and provide so-called closed sky. We had this type of discussion half years ago, and since those time have died a lot of Ukrainians because of missiles strikes to peaceful Ukrainian cities, and including hospitals and residential houses. And now I can comment that there are a lot of discussions concerning this sphere, and we haven't received this decision concerning cooperation with Ukraine in the sphere supplying aircraft. And
right.
I know that United States will implement in budget for next year 100 million for the drilling Ukrainian pilots, but we haven't had decision concerning supplying aircraft and additional ammunition in this sphere.
Right.
And yes, sorry.
I want to just touch on this for a second. This is Russia's losses over 197 days, which is up to September 8th, from February 24th to September 8th. We have personnel, 51,250 losses. Artillery, 1,226 losses. Helicopters, 210. Rocket systems, 305. Cruise missiles, 214. Tanks, 2,112. Armed vehicles, 4,557. Aircraft, 239. Russians warships, 15. Air defense systems, 159. Now, this is a brutal loss to Russia. Do you think that he may be considering a nuclear war or having that somewhere lodged in his mind?
I cannot say exactly, because we understand that Russia's power unpredictable. It depends on one person's opinion, and they will do anything. But we have shown all countries around the world that we can fight. Ukrainian forces have eliminated more than 50,000 Russia's soldiers, 1,000 tanks, artillery system, aircrafts and helicopters. And we do it every day. And I think that all people around the world could see it in the city center, in the capital of Ukraine, was put it eliminated Russia's tanks and another military vehicles which were eliminated during this battle. And now we understand that to liberate our country, we must have additional ammunition, and because of it, we ask our allies to help us in this. In this really serious moment, because we have started our offensive operation. I wanted to comment that at the south of Ukraine, Ukrainian forces have surrounded Russia's troops at the right side of Dnieper, and with the HIMARS systems have eliminated all bridges. And they tried to move their ammunition and military vehicles at ships, and with Western artillery, we have eliminated these ships, and now this military unit, which include about 20,000 soldiers, have surrounded by Ukrainian forces. But to start the new offensive operation, necessary to have a lot more ammunition and higher trained, higher drilled infantry units. And because of it, we are in deep cooperation with our allies, and we thank all countries who help us with drilling our units and with supplying weapons. We are really thankful for our neighbors who help us, who allow to supply through their territory additional ammunition for Ukrainian troops, because we understand, and our allies and our neighbors understand, that we defend not only ourselves, we defend democracy, and we fighting for our country's future and for future all-developed world, because it's threat for all countries. Autocracy will lead only to next war. And I'd say that now Ukrainian forces believe in our victory and do our best we can. And I'd commented that we are working with Western support in budgeting. We can provide state policy, because we are supported by our friends, and only in this way we will be able to liberate our country and to defeat cruel enemy who decided that he can capture neighbor countries without any punishment. And we will show all countries that it's possible, and we understand and we believe in our military troops, and we believe in our victory.
Great. Earlier you had introduced to me your territorial defense commander. Is he still alive?
No. Now we have different type of territorial defense forces. We have volunteer territorial defense forces and territorial defense battalion, which were formed in brigade, and these battalions were sent to the battle line. I participate in forming one battalion, which was headed my friend, and another my friend was head of squadron, and his squadron get to cruel life, and during a couple of weeks they were under really serious shelling, and number of soldiers were killed, and number of soldiers and my friends were heavily wounded. But after withdrawing, this squadron was reorganized, and now is fighting at the southeast with enemy. Now they are committing offensive operations, because our fallen friends, their family are with us, and we all together, and we believe that our victory is close, and we believe in our friends who visited us in the time we were preparing this battalions, and I wanted to remind our conversation with a big friend of Ukraine, Randy, who came to us and brought to Ukraine uniform for territorial defense forces, boots, and additional ammunition for soldiers from territorial defense. And after changing law, territorial defense units joined to military forces and became military forces units who are fighting together with soldiers from whom were formed military forces before. And now there are a lot of territorial defense units fighting at the east of Ukraine, and we can comment that it's a little bit elderly persons, but they believe in our victory and allow our youth to be good trained with our Western allies and Western support, and to be ready to fight further. But it was when my friends were fighting at the end of May, at start of June. It was really a difficult time. We are limited in ammunition, and we couldn't answer for Russians' heavy shelling, and they were using few waves. They were shelling Ukrainian troops from long-range artillery, and then they were shelling from aircrafts, helicopters, and them stormed territorial defense forces with the tanks. We were limited with ammunition at first, but now I can comment that we have enough ammunition to resist them. But if we have additional, it would be great, because it would allow us to commit offensive operations further. And I hope it will take place, because every day limits in ammunitions is paid our fighters' lives. And because of it, we and public organizations, official persons, holding a lot of meetings, a lot of conversation with our allies, how to strengthen Ukraine and how to allow Ukraine to be more competitive and have a lot of advantages at our enemies. But no one knows how long will this war lasted. We will try to liberate the territory soon, but we have different
Is there still a
analysis
vast
forecast.
migration of refugees leaving Ukraine right now?
No. Now we can tell that there are a lot of Ukrainians who left Ukraine early in the spring, now came back. For example, if you visited Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, in early March, you will be fortificated city for fighting with the enemy, with tanks and with really serious enemies. But now it's changing slowly. But people are coming back, and now we can tell that Kyiv looks better. People are coming, and first of all, a lot of people came back to send children to school. Students who are going to go to universities, but now haven't made decisions that they have to
Vasil, we have come to the remaining last minute of the show. I want to really thank you for tuning in and giving that vital part of information from Ukraine. And to all those who have been tuning in or living in the 21st century, have a nice day. Bye-bye.